Hello, everybody. Here we are. We are here for the Green Umbrella Live Lunch, and we've got Dean joining us today. How exciting! Now, I'm introducing you already, knowing that people like I haven't even had the notification yet to say that we're live. So obviously things are going a bit slow today. So I just do a little bit of filler. Oh, it's pinged on LinkedIn now at least, so we're all right. But it's all good. We're here. We're going to pretend we're full of energy, even though we're absolutely hanging and exhausted after 2 days at the Recruitment Agency Expo. I mean, literally, Monday, it was put your out of office on, get packed, get to London, get set up. And it's just been full on, absolutely full on. Obviously, we all got back, about 9 o'clock last night, by the time we were back on trains and things. And this morning, I feel like I've done 10 rounds with, I was going to say Frank Bruno, because I don't know any names more modern than that in boxing. But yeah, I just feel absolutely like from the soles of my feet upwards, I just feel exhausted. What about you guys? The same?
Yeah, definitely.
Likewise, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just in a daze.
Yeah, but it was a really good show, really, really good show. So one of the great things about it was like, Dean, that was your sort of first outing with us as a team.
Yeah, so I got to see you speak.
Yeah.
People. So yeah, it was good, really good.
What was it? What you were expecting?
Yes, and no, as well, because whenever I've been to any kind of events or expos, it's never been myself that's had to kind of speak directly with other business owners, and obviously recruitment being a new kind of industry to me as well. So kind of finding a lot out about other businesses and kind of their pains and what they need and their requirements, and candidate traction being another main topic with some of the people that I did speak with. So yeah, it was really good, and yeah, I learned a lot from that, and I'm looking forward to going to the next one, and seeing some familiar faces from the people that I met. So yeah,
awesome. And Jane, you normally get left behind in the office. So when we go, like, over the last 10 years that you've been part of the business, like, we come back and we tell all the stories and everything else. So did it live up to the stories?
Yeah, I think it did. I mean, it's like Dean said, it's definitely an experience. And, like him, I've been to expos and things like that as a visitor, but never as an exhibitor. So, yeah, I mean, the best piece of advice you gave before we went was to wear comfy shoes. And you were right, because, yeah, it is exhausting. But it was brilliant and fascinating. And it was great to meet people. And, yeah, it lived up to my expectations, definitely.
Awesome. I think that was like probably the funniest line of the whole, 3 days essentially we were there with setup as well. With Dean turning around to me and saying, like, Christina, I still can't believe you're wearing those shoes. Because I don't do flat shoes. I'm like heels all day long. And he's like, seriously, like respect.
I don't know how you managed it, to be honest.
Oh, I'm tough. So obviously there's tons going on. There's loads going on with the stands and that sort of stuff. And I know, Mark, we're always kind of looking to see who's doing what, who's doing something new, who's doing something innovative, maybe with the space and that sort of stuff. So was there anything that kind of stood out for you?
I mean, I had a little wander around. I was pretty much on our stand most of the time, if I'm honest, but obviously did get to have a little wander around. I mean, there's lots of nice things out there. Obviously, we use our fabric stands, and there was quite a few people now have got those kind of things, that in terms of, like, obviously it enabled us to go on the train rather than having to lug loads of stuff in a car. Literally, a few bags and we'd got all our stuff there. So if you've got those kind of sort of fabric stands, they're nice and easy to sort of transport. So again, there's different shapes and things that you see sometimes. I think there was one of the guys that had like sort of light box fabric stands. Again, they're quite nice as well. So you've got a bit of illumination in there and things like that. So anything like that is always good. And then you've got the big boys that have got, they're obviously massive sort of bespoke built stands, with, what was it? There was the pancake making one, and obviously there's a couple of bars and things attached to stands and all sorts of things this time round. So you've got some crazy stuff going on like that as well.
Yeah, I think this is the thing when you think about like the stands, like when we go to the NEC, it's like 45 minutes up the road. So it's like stick it in the boot. You haven't got to carry it that far from the car park to the hall. So it's like not so bad. But going like when you've got to go a distance, you've got to really think about how you're going to get it there. And I mean, how many times have we seen it where someone's like, they've said, right, it's fine. We'll get a courier to take all the stuff for us and get it delivered there. And then they arrive at the other end and there's just nothing there because it's just disappeared along the way. And it was like, we were not going to take that risk. Definitely not. Definitely not. Paul's asked a question over on Facebook. Goodies. Now, this is interesting because Dean, you and I had a conversation about goodies. We kind of
did, yeah.
We haven't had a proper debrief, but we've had a few conversations like over dinner and on the train back and that kind of thing. And Dean's like, Christina, I really think we need some tubs of Quality Street, or what was it you wanted?
I actually said the triangle green ones, the big triangle green ones, because they sell them separately because they're that much of a favorite. And I thought with our company branding, with it being green, maybe have some treats maybe at the front of our stand for next time. And obviously your response was
no.
And
not that I'm known for being blunt.
Do you want to divulge your response, or
no, you can go for it.
Yeah, because basically what you said was, people just will go up, literally take what they want and walk off, not even any interaction with you. And I didn't believe you. I didn't believe you at all. I thought, well, if you've got leaflets and stuff near goodies and freebies, people are going to be more inclined to at least have a conversation with you or ask what it is you do as a business. And then with my own eyes, maybe about half an hour after having that discussion with you, I saw someone go up to a bowl of sweets and literally sit there and handpick what they wanted and just walk straight off. And I just thought, yeah, she's right. Christina's right. Yeah, not a good idea.
I'm always right. There was some interesting giveaways. So I'm really I'm a bit tight with the giveaway stuff. So like we do the pens because they're branded, and so people like keep hold of them, and obviously it's it's got the logo, the number, and all that sort of stuff on there. But we don't really do anything outside of that. I'm just going to bring this up on the screen. Just so that, Does it change your screenshot there?
I was waiting for that.
So yeah, I'm kind of a bit of a funny one when it comes to the giveaways, because I think like pens end up everywhere, right? So you never, like, sometimes you end up with you've got branded pen, you've got no idea where you got it from. So pens always like that, they get moved around, don't they? So like pens are a good one. But then there's other things. I don't like giveaways that are throwaway. So things like pads, once the pad's used, it's like you haven't got it anymore, have you? Chocolates, things like that, once you've eaten it, the wrapper's in the bin.
True.
So I'm like, the kind of giveaway stuff that I like costs more than I'm prepared to spend, if I'm really honest, for things like this. But though, I mean, some people had some quite interesting stuff though.
Some of them were like stress relievers, money saving banks, and all sorts, really. Loads of different kind of things that you could just, that were given away. The best ones, obviously, I think, are the refreshment stuff, like the cups and everything like that. So you can obviously take it into the office with you. It's branded. So there you go. Yeah.
CV Library water bottles. These are the best water bottles, I have to say.
I know, because I fill it up for you all the time and it doesn't leak.
It does. It's true. What about you, Jane? What do you think about the freebies?
Well, personally, I actually like Post-it notes. So they're the freebie Post-it notes. I know you said, once you've used them, they're gone. But I don't use Post-it notes that quickly. And I've still got Post-it notes in my house and in my desk that I've had for years, probably, because I've got so many of them. And I do think, every time I leave a note on someone's desk, I'm advertising the company. every time I pick the post-it note up to make a when I take a message, again, oh yeah, that's that company. So for me, they're kind of my favourite thing. I did get a phone holding thing, but this is not branded. So I kind of thought, well, actually, I can't now remember where that came from. So that's a bit of a shame. And like you said, notebooks. I like a notebook, to be honest. And the other one is mouse mats, because if you actually use the mouse mat, then it's on your desk all the time, isn't it?
I think mouse mats are a good one. I do think mouse mats are good. I think if we were going to do something, it needs to be something mobile-y. Look, can you see how many notifications I've had? I cleared that just before we started. Mouse mats are a good one. But I think like pop sockets maybe. I know they're a bit dated now, but they are still handy. Is that what they're called?
Branded.
Yeah, a branded one. Because like we're telling everyone to do lives all the time. And if you're like me and you've got weird, like, I really struggle because I don't have any coordination. So taking a selfie is actually really hard, because for me to press the button, it's like the phone kind of goes, wah, and I have to take about 20 so I get one in focus. And a pop socket would help that. So maybe pop sockets, we could do something like that. But I mean, people, I'm just looking across at the table now over there where we brought some stuff back for the other guys. Someone was giving away, I did think this was clever actually. Yesterday more, because what happens is like day one is like the exhibitions there's speakers all day long. And then there's kind of like drinks afterwards that are not connected to the show, but it's part of the event essentially. So obviously, yesterday morning, there were a few sore heads, and they were giving away bottles of coconut water. So I thought that was quite good, because then, if you want to pitch yourself as a fun brand and all that sort of stuff, then it's kind of like that's a nice tie-in. So I thought that was good. But then you've got stuff like T-shirts as well and that kind of thing. And I do think there's a bit of sometimes you can have some really cool merch. So you can have like, like the thermal bottles. Okay. So you could have some of those that are like really nice, really nicely branded. So they're quite stylish as well. But you make sure people can see them, make sure people want them, but you only actually give them to someone if, let's say there's something you're selling on the stand. Well, actually, if they purchase it there and then they get that freebie. So it's like creates that interest, but it's that transactional thing again. I've seen people do it with books as well, like a free book, but obviously you're paying with your email address to get the book from the stand. I think that sort of stuff's far more clever than, there's a lot of stuff in the merchandise world that is plastic tat, isn't there?
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
And you kind of go, oh, cool. And I'm trying to think of a suggestion now that I didn't see, just in case what I say is taken the wrong way. What didn't I see? I didn't see any. Oh, no, can't say that either, because I know someone that does those. I can't think of a single thing now that I can actually say without possibly offending anyone. I must be tired if I'm trying hard not to offend people. But you get the idea, it's stuff like the stress relieving balls and all that sort of stuff. I think they're quite good because they tend to hang around, don't they?
Yeah.
People don't get rid of them quickly. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that just ends up in the bin.
Plastic, the bottle openers were pretty cool, I think, because you'll always use them as well, especially if they've got the key ring bit on it.
Yeah, stuff like that is good. I tell you what is good. I haven't got it here, damn it. So it's a company called Bishopsgate in the recruitment world, and they have the, the credit card sized, I'll do it that way and then no one can see my card number. Like ice scrapers for doing your windscreen.
Yeah.
They've got those. So I got one of those once, and I don't know how long I've had it now, and it's in my handbag. It's always in my handbag.
Tiny one then.
Yeah, it's literally it's the size of a debit card.
Oh.
So you can just do your windscreen in the morning. It's good. Okay, so what about the sessions? You guys didn't get into any of the sessions, did you?
Not properly. I went to yourself and to Simon Bliss as well.
Simon Bliss from Team. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he had Rebecca Bannerman in his one. So yeah, that was quite insightful actually, especially hearing a lot of the progress that some other recruitment businesses have made. Just making certain adjustments to what is the norm or deemed the norm in recruitment, and actually getting really good wins. So I think it was Rebecca's business, and also I think it was S2 as well. You could kind of see the incremental growth, the numbers of like people that were in the business, and how it's slightly started to like grow over a period of time. So yeah, it's just impressive really, just to kind of just be there and listen to it and hear people's stories. So yeah, I enjoyed them.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Rebecca Bannerman's from Amber Recruitment. They're sort of, I want to say Surrey based, that sort of area, but she's taken her business over to a 4-day week and has had just fantastic results from it. So she was sharing stories around that.
We like that idea. Can I just say, we like that 4-day week thing. We start this week.
But they all have to do the same amount of work in 4 days. I didn't think you'd like that part of it.
Maybe not. No.
So, and you lot would just bloody work on the 5th day anyway. It's hard enough stopping you working at the weekends.
Don't go down any more days. We need to go up at the minute.
Who did I see? So I saw James Osborne from the Recruitment Network, and I really liked his presentation, but probably because we'd been having he and I sort of, said hi and had a quick catch up just a few minutes before he sort of went on stage. And some of the things I was saying to him essentially were in his slides in his presentation, but there was like just all sorts of stuff in there about, how people can grow business. But obviously he's talking to recruiters specifically, but what I really loved was the fact that there's some real key things in that presentation that were like any business, like we could employ those strategies in this business. Some of them we are employing, but some of them as well are kind of like on, in the plans for this year, but we haven't done anything about just yet, because they're like, Q3, Q4 plans. So that was really good. I really enjoyed that presentation. Also, Jo Major, who I think I did talk to her very briefly about trying to get her on here, talking about inclusion. And it was really powerful. So she's in a room that will seat sort of up to, I think it's about 180, 200 seats in the room. And obviously anyone attending, they can go to whichever seminar they want to, if they want to. And there are, anything about marketing gains a crowd 100%, because everyone wants to know how to market their business better. Okay, anything about trends, there's a crowd. Everyone wants to market, everyone wants to know, like, how can I be top of my game? So Jo Major's talking about inclusion, and everyone talks about how important diversity and inclusion and, EDI or DE&I, however you want to say it, how important that is in their business. But when you looked in her room, the people that, where it's actually important enough to go and sit in a seminar and listen to someone at a peak point in the day where you would expect lots of people to be around, there are a lot of empty seats. And it is just it's so easy for businesses to say, I really care about this thing. And, it's Chinese New Year, so we're going to do this and celebrate whatever it is. And it's, it's Pride Month, so we're going to change our avatar everywhere and put a rainbow on it. But actually, rock up and sit in a room and listen to the detail on this. People don't. And I think that's quite sad. I might actually reach out to Jo and see if we can have a link to her slides, and just I'd really like to pick out just a couple of the key points that she shared and get a blog together on it and share that, because it's just like some of the stuff that goes on when you actually look at the data is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like, it's just like, what are the facts? Let's say Mark and Dean have both had enough of me, right? Obviously, that's never going to happen, right? But I think it's something like, if you both wanted to go and, start applying for jobs, Dean, because you're of colour, you'll have to apply for essentially 3 times more vacancies than Mark would have to be considered to get the interviews and all that kind of stuff. And it's like the world we live in today, that's horrendous. And all these people are going, yeah, you know, Black History Month, and yeah, gay pride, and jumping on all the bandwagons, and yet they're not actually that interested. And I'm probably being a bit over dramatic in the way I'm saying that, but it's like, no one's really changing this stuff. And so, like I said, it's like she delivered such a fantastic presentation. She really, really did. But yeah, it's just sad that, you know, let's say 180, 200 seats, with thousands of people coming through this show, every one of those seats should have been taken. I feel like I've been all like ranty and dramatic again now. But it's been bothering me. It's been bugging me.
Well, you speak your mind, so it's a good thing.
Awesome. Okay, so we don't want to drag this out too long. Hold on. Oh God, Amanda, you're going to bloody put long messages on here for me to read. Why don't you just jump in and join us? She's probably sat there in her pants or something. Right, Amanda, she'll have to join now just to prove that she isn't. And Amanda, if you don't join, everyone's going to be thinking it. Have you seen the My Name Is hashtag? People are claiming their names and how to pronounce them rather than have colleagues, team members go, how do you say that? Where are you really from? Sorry, I'm not laughing at what she said there. I'm laughing at the fact that she's just put in the comments that she's not in her pants. But no, I haven't seen that hashtag. I haven't seen it, but that's really interesting. I haven't seen that at all.
But LinkedIn did that thing, didn't they, where you could record how to say your name?
Yeah, absolutely.
On your profile, didn't they? So
yeah, in the mobile app on your profile, you can literally record how to say your name, which is fantastic from an inclusion perspective. But then stupid marketers jumped all over it. So you've got people like, you know, John Smith. And if you want to go and get my download from blah, 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 and it's like I love marketing, but sometimes we do just like crap over things, spoil it for the world. But yeah, that's it's quite interesting. Oh, look.
Look who's here.
Hi.
Are you only showing us for the neck up?
Hi, yes. So yeah, look, I've got a jumper on. I'm wearing pants.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
I've also got a jazzy sparkly headband on, but no makeup. So, soz.
Do you know what, Amanda? Just before we went live, I was like, damn it, we should have just got Amanda on here to like run it today, because can you feel the lack of energy?
No, I think you're all being quite sprightly, but you're hiding it well, because I know how tiring Expo is. It just, I totally get it. But no, you're giving off good vibes.
Awesome. Did you miss it?
Yes and no. No, yes and no. I think on the middle night, so the night where you went out for drinks and dinner and there was the networking, I was sat at home, not in my pants, but in kind of like, you know, a big fleecy thing, dressing gown, scrolling through my phone, checking your messages. And I was thinking, yeah, I'm quite comfortable here, to be honest, on my sofa while you're out kind of having a few drinks and being out late. And I probably felt sprightlier yesterday morning than some of you did, but that's a wider you. I'm not. I
was going to say we were all right. Me and Jane were.
You were all in bed at a sensible time, weren't you?
Me and Dean were okay, but just a bit later. That was all.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But no, I mean, as a collective Rec Expo, I think I probably felt a bit sprightlier than some people. But no, I did miss. One of the things I really like about going to the expo is the speaker slots, because I just think obviously it's great to catch up with everybody, but the speaker program is just packed full of really useful content, topics, learning. It's, you know, you don't get a chance sometimes to sit through 2 solid days of, you know, where else and for free. I think people, you know, a lot of people kind of go, oh, it's the same old, but I always come away with something I haven't thought about before, a new piece of tech that I don't know, marketing tips. Even we don't get to sit down and talk about that very often. So,
I mean, that's essentially why Live Lunch started, was because we're no longer in the office, and it gave us an opportunity once a week to come and do exactly that. Obviously, it doesn't always happen that way, but it's, that's sort of the point in Live Lunch. But it's also, it's opportunity to reconnect with people, isn't it? So yesterday was sort of late afternoon yesterday. I'm talking to someone and I see this guy appear and go and basically like prod Jane and say hello to her. And I'm like, who the is that? I've like no idea who it was. It turned, shouldn't say this. God, why do I keep saying things that are going to get me in trouble? But essentially, it's a new client who I have spoken to online, but he's much taller than I expected.
Well,
he's had lots of dialogue with Jane, and was it Jane? You said you'd had emails that day or something.
Yeah, we'd emailed that morning, and he said he was nearby, so he popped over. I think he was going anyway, but he popped over, and he obviously came to say hello to me. But like I said, I've only ever spoken to him on the phone or by email, so at first I was like, I don't know who you are, but you obviously know me.
All you know of somebody is the tiny circular picture that's their LinkedIn profile photo. I think it's definitely forgivable that you wouldn't necessarily recognise them.
Do you know what's weird though? I two other clients that we've done loads and loads of stuff with, and they came over and I was like, oh, Jane's here, come and meet Jane. And they were like, yeah, all right. And they came over and I'm like, Jane, this is I won't say the client name, this is them. And Jane's like, oh, hi. And they're like, yeah, hi Jane. Yeah. And it's like, it was like someone that's spoken to you 20 times who knows you really well, and you've forgotten, like they know you really well and you've forgotten who they are. It was that kind of thing. And I was a bit confused. And he said to me, well, I've seen you all the time on Live Lunch. And it's that thing of like, they know what, like people know you.
Know yourself.
But yeah, it's, and I remember having that feeling like years ago, and being in Tesco and pushing the trolley and someone stopping and saying, oh, you're Christina from Green Umbrella, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, celeb moment.
But yeah, I think that you must have had a little bit of that going on, Jane.
Yeah, there was a few. I mean, there was the people opposite who we've worked with for a really long time, and he's convinced that he'd met me in person, and I'm not convinced we actually have. But I think we've just spoken that many times on the phone and possibly on Zoom as well that neither of us are really sure whether we've ever met in person before. So it is funny. It really is.
Really funny. So Dean, obviously, you're still relatively new to the business.
Yeah.
And I think you've we're quite well known within that sort of within the recruitment industry.
Yeah.
And you've experienced that a few times just through, on the phone and joining calls and that networking calls and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you how did that come across yesterday?
To be honest, it wasn't a shock. I think just touching on what Jane said, really, with my particular role, I'm speaking to businesses, I'm joining team calls and then actually seeing people in person, I can sometimes I know that person because I've spoken to her before, and it does make things a lot easier as well, and you're just a bit more comfortable, if that makes sense, because when you're in an environment like that and there's so many different people walking around, so many different businesses, but from a stand you've spoken to so and so before, and you're wearing your bright green rugby jersey and Green Umbrella logo, it's easy for you to be able to kind of hi, how are you, and they know who you are. So yeah, and again, like you touched on as well, everyone kind of knows of Green Umbrella and what we do, and there's a lot of businesses that don't, that have kind of heard of us. So it was good, and I found it a good experience overall. So yeah.
Awesome. So I don't want to drag this out too long, and especially for you, Amanda, considering you weren't planning on coming on. But
I had my day planned out. It didn't include this, but I thought, I'll pop on and listen.
So I know we've talked, like I said, we haven't had a proper debrief yet. We did talk a little bit on the train. We were grunting at each other on the train basically last night coming back. We were so tired. But what's one thing from each of you that you would be, oh, Kim's just put on Facebook, let me back in. I think she might have just locked herself out of the office. Go on, Mark, just check the door. I wish I could turn my computer in there. That's exactly what's happened. Oh dear. So what's one thing like one suggestion for next year, or for October even? Go on, Dean.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
A chair. I bought comfy footwear, but yeah, a chair would be nice, or maybe even two, because then we can sit down and have conversations with people, I think, and just that's my suggestion. I don't know if Mark would agree with me.
From a physical point of view, definitely. But then we need to be dynamic and out there, pulling people in. So maybe it depends. We'll have to see what we can do.
It's really hard with a chair because sometimes if you walk around and you go on people's stands and they've got chairs and you just see them sat down scrolling through their phone.
It's not very engaging.
I totally get it, because I think even by the end of Birmingham, I was like, I just need to sit down and take a load off my feet, especially because you're not used to standing up for that long, let's face it. I think you'd have to be quite disciplined with chairs to be like, it's just, when you're meeting people.
It's also sometimes someone comes to the stand and you're like, oh, please just go away now. Have you got a chair? It's going to be even harder to get rid of them. Like you're talking to someone, it's like it's done. You're finished, but they're not. But you can see there's someone else over there. Wait, one guy came over. So I think this guy talked to Mark, and he needed to talk to me really because of what the project is. And he came back to the stand about 3 times, and every time he came back to the stand to talk to me, I was with someone. So, like you're with someone, you can see there's someone over there that really needs you. So, like, you're trying to get rid of this person so you can go and serve that person. Well, if you've got a chair, it's even harder. I can imagine doing that. So brilliant. Is that everything you need? And standing up, thinking that they'll take the hint and stand up as well, and then just not.
If the chairs are too comfy, exactly. So I was showing Dean some of the things that we can do, like the beanbag chairs and things. You can imagine just absolutely being slumped, especially by about like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That would be it. There'd be like 2 chairs pushed together to make a bed or something.
Beanbags is a great idea.
We've got beanbag chairs we can do.
Or although a bit of a pain to kind of schlep to Olympia and back.
Yeah,
but it's getting out of it again. Like when you get down there, like, it's all right for young sprightly things. I was going to say,
you can't do it elegantly once you get beyond a certain age.
You just roll off it.
I'll be halfway up and break wings.
You do know we're live, right?
Yeah, I know. I keep talking about authenticity and being yourself and all that sort of stuff. So there you go. Oh, good idea. Ellie's like 90s blow-up chairs, neon green.
Yeah.
Like that. Cool. Okay, right. What about you, Jane?
I don't really know. The thing is, I was obviously there, but I was there in a different capacity because I was running around all day taking photos and tweeting things. So for me, I haven't had the experience of actually sort of manning the stand. So I don't really know. Really, I mean, like we said, we could tweet on a screen. That would be my thing.
Twitter feed.
Yeah,
it would be good to have an interactive Twitter feed because we could get the other stands involved in that as well. That would be
definitely.
Cool. That would be cool. What about you, Mark? Something that doesn't cost me loads of money.
All of my things are always visual, aren't they? So just different bits to add on to the stand and things that our own stuff. So just tweaks and things. Still want a big flag.
I want a backpack with the flag on it.
That's for
does it
Dean
golf
if he doesn't
style
wear
on
the
it?
giraffe suit.
That will never happen.
But yeah, no, just things like that we can look at. And obviously, if we do have a sort of Twitter feed, we can look at obviously TV stands and things like that we can do. So lots of nice goody sort of exhibition stand bits for me. But yeah, no, we can't do everything.
What I loved was that, so, you know, Amanda, we normally stay on the stand. We don't really like go out and like we go and have walkarounds and talk to people, that kind of stuff. We had Taylor with us, our intern. So she took George for a walk. So we've got loads of cool photos of George on other people's stands.
Oh, that's cool.
So, like, you know, having a conversation with the guys at Firefish Software and, you know, like, it's feet up, looking at a screen, having a demo with one of the other CRM providers and all that sort of stuff. So that was quite cool. And Ellie's just put in the comments, she thinks we should do a giraffe hunt. Which I reckon we could get people on board for that. That would be fun. We should do that.
You should hide them, and then if people find them and bring them
that.
to the stand, they get a prize.
Yeah. No, we could just someone will nick it, won't they? Don't you think?
Yeah, but to make
Someone
it
will
like
get to buy it.
make the prize more enticing than so like small giraffes. I know, like a little plastic toy or something.
Paul put
Not plastic, very
like
plastic.
pointing up. So in the comments, further up in the comments, because there's no point you pointing up there because people will look above this to where the copy is and it's not there, it's underneath. I'll just point to the corners instead, see if that works. So we used to have, I haven't got one handy, like, you know, the giraffes that we take for in-person training, they're like baby toys and they like squeak and rattle and stuff like that. So we could do something with those. The problem is, like, we can't give them away. Well, we could give them away as giveaways, but they're about £6 each now. It's quite expensive, quite pricey. And like I said, I'm really tight on that stuff. So, but yeah, like I said, there's loads of stuff we can do, loads of stuff. But the reality is, it was a really, really good show. We missed you, Amanda. Loads of people were asking after you.
Oh, did they think
really
I'd
nice.
fallen off the face of the earth or something?
Yeah, it was like, oh, is Amanda with you? No, it's like, oh. It was literally that face, like, Christina, it's just you we're talking to then.
Oh, that's not true. I'm sure they love it.
I think it was probably like, oh, if Amanda's not here, then who's babysitting you? That's probably what the face was.
Yeah, probably. But it's okay. You had good minders, definitely, in the shape of Jane and Dean.
Right.
I think Mark's just washed his hands of you years ago.
Well, Jane would normally be the responsible one, but I'm not so sure anymore.
We saw Jane's wild side. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to show any of the video evidence or the photographic evidence, but if Jane was trying to sell Mark tea bags in a lift at one point. True story.
Didn't sell any though, did I? No one wants to buy them.
The pitch wasn't
What's that say
good.
about me?
Oh dear. All right, okay. Let's wrap this up because we're just talking crap now, aren't we? Like I said, we've had a fantastic week so far. This is essentially our first proper day in the office. We're absolutely whacked. So please don't abandon us. Come and see us next Thursday at 12. We'll be back on it, full of energy and talking about all the social media stuff. It's going to be me, Mark, Jane, and God knows who else. I haven't figured it out yet, but, Expo's out of the way now. We're going to spend the next few days following up, and then we will 100% be back on track with all things Green Umbrella Live Lunch. So, have an amazing week, everyone. Dean, you need to wave at the screen and smile like you're happy to be here. We get the screenshot. and we'll see everyone next Thursday at 12 noon. Bye for now.
Bye.